hold out for as long as 5 years. And with limited cannibalism, 6.
Well, Zosia, to start with you, I really enjoyed your character in this series. She's one of those, people with a hard exterior, but as we know, people always have more than what meets the surface. So I am curious if you found her to be creatively fulfilling in a way that was different from any of your other roles.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'd ever played a character that was quite as extreme as she was. And I think I've played quite a few characters who are battling a deep insecurity, but I think hers was at a totally different level, specifically given the circumstances she's surrounded by, that like being a 28-year-old unwed woman was basically akin to a death sentence. And so I think her level of anxiety is at such an extreme survival high. And yeah, I found it incredibly fulfilling to play that. But also I think I've been lucky to explore the relationship of female friendship a lot. And I think Saoirse and I talk about this a lot, that there were various different romantic mashups throughout the characters, but we felt sort of like the relationship between Pampinea and Misia was sort of the most epic love story of the season. And Saoirse said something earlier in the day that I thought was so beautiful, that like the worst her heart has ever been broken is by a friend. And I think specifically female friendships can really shatter you, and getting to play the dynamic of their love story, their codependency, and getting to do that across from someone like Saoirse, who is just like the most incredible actor and human. And it was really, every day getting to work with her was a true joy.
And you too, Zosia. It was just such a joy. It's just, it just comes from such a great place. And it's definitely something to take forward, going forward. And I think to handle such a sensitive topic that I think a lot of women are going to relate to, watching that sort of gaslighting and that manic sort of control and emotional manipulation. I think when it comes, to cast someone like Zosia that has such a great heart and that is so talented and nearly has this merciless but yet extraordinarily charismatic performance, it's going to be so satisfying for the audience to watch, because that's what it feels like when it happens to you.
Yeah, well, kind of along with what you guys were saying, these characters are obviously very codependent on each other. And Saoirse, I am curious who you feel your character is, outside of Pampinea. Who is this woman without her?
I feel like we leave her in a place where she's just about to figure that out. I think at her true core, she's efficient and wistful. I think that she's one for leaning into a prophecy, and probably a big thinker. I think that she's a stare at the stars sort of gear, and she's got a lot of love to give. I think that's how she finds herself in that position, because she is so loving and is so caring, and that is manipulated and taken advantage of.
I would love to hear from both of you, Zosia, if you would like to start. What is it about this series that you think differentiates it from other dark comedies? Like, what might this show offer that you're not seeing a lot of on television?
Saoirse's said this a lot throughout our press, and I think it's very true that we're in a day and age where I think people are very afraid to take chances. I think it's really incredibly hard to get something made now, whether it be film or television. And so we're sort of looking back a lot in order to attempt to play it safe and maybe recreate things that have already been made in a slightly different way, but not entirely. And I think truly original film and television is sadly a little hard to come by because it's scarier to step out into telling a story or creating characters that are new and different. And I think Kathleen has really created a world that is truly singular. And I think that is a really unique thing right now. And I think the character she created, the world she created, and the way that she's telling the story is wholly original.
Yeah, it became quite an interesting time as well. I'm just thinking that when you look back, that we finished just as the strikes were starting. And I think that Decameron really is a true depiction of like, trust your writers. You've employed your writers to write, so let the writers write.
All right. Well, it looks like it is about time for me to get on out of here. So I will wrap with that. Thank you guys so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you.
Let us in! Don't make me release the dogs! Woo! Woo!